Hello and welcome to today's BITRIX24 webinar HR Toolkit. Thank you for joining today. Okay, we'll just go through some introductions first of all. So I'm Sam Connor, Sales Manager here at Interface. We're based in the UK, the US and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to assist you with BITRIX24. So starting off with pre-sale support, so we can help to evaluate your requirements and we can see if BITRIX24 could be a good fit and a solution for what you're trying to achieve. And if it is, we can manage the full onboarding of your requirements into BITRIX24. So the system is designed out exactly how you need it to work for your business. If you are interested in the self-hosted option, so essentially a private cloud version of BITRIX, then we can provide you with our hosting solution. And we also provide training and ongoing dedicated support to help businesses get the most possible value out of the BITRIX24 system. Okay, so if you're joining today's webinar to actually get more information about BITRIX as a whole, let's just go through a bit about what BITRIX24 encompasses. So BITRIX24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 40 different tools that you can use to help you to manage your business. There are over 15 million now businesses around the world that use the BITRIX24 system, and it's available in two different editions. So we have the BITRIX Cloud and we have the BITRIX self-hosted solution. And then in terms of pricing, so prices start from $49 per month for a cloud-based system. For an on-premise, that starts at the Business 50 tier, and that's priced at $3,590 for the first 12 months. And then in year 2 and ongoing annually, you'll pay a 50% renewal fee to continue to use that on-premise license. Okay, so today's webinar is HR Toolkit. So what we'll be doing today is really focusing in on the features and functionality within the BITRIX24 system that you can use to manage your HR processes and requirements. So before we go into the system, let's just discuss why you should use BITRIX24 for your HR needs. So first of all, we have tools, and many tools in the system for finding employees, managing work time and personal areas, for details such as contracts or for appraisal documents. We also have self-service forms. So these are incredibly popular because you can really customize these to manage your workflows within the business. So we have self-service forms for managing absence, it could be expenses, purchase requests. And you can then also create your own custom processes such as onboarding new starters. So what we'll do first of all, then let's take a look at some of these HR tools in more detail. So we'll look at first the individual user profile and the company structure. We'll then take a look at some of the time management tools, and then we'll look at the personal drive areas and how we can engage with our employees through the BITRIX system. So let's head over to our BITRIX platform. Now, just to explain, I've got both a cloud system and an on-premise version open here. If there is any functionality where you need a certain tier of BITRIX license, I will make this very clear to you so you can be aware of that. And as we start to go through the webinar today, if you have any questions, please do add them into the question box on YouTube. We're live here so we can answer your questions. Or if after this session you still need to speak with someone, I'm just going to put our email address into the channel. And so that's sales@interface.com. And then one of our team will be happy to help you to answer your questions that you may have after today's webinar. Okay, so if you are new to BITRIX, just to explain here, we're on the browser version of BITRIX. There is also a desktop application and there's a mobile app as well. So first of all, what we'll do today is we'll take a look at the profile page that the user has on their BITRIX. Okay, so here we can see the user's profile. So that can be a real image of yourself and your team members on their profile page. And then we can see details here about that user inside the system. And what's nice here is you can create fields. Okay, so you can create your own fields to capture specific information that you need to store about yourself in your profile. And so we can see here, for example, we've got a skills area. So in here, we're inputting the main skills that we have within the business. Okay. And you'll see later on this information, this talks through into the overall employee database table where we can search for employees based on those skills and traits. Okay, so then further down here, we've got additional information about ourselves. And what's really nice here, you'll see later on, we can look at lead management in more detail. But here you've got shortcuts in your profile to different areas of the BITRIX system, such as tasks, where we can see all of my tasks that I'm working on or assigned. I can link to my drive area to open up the drive module, or I could even go into here to view my calendar and see all of my events and meetings that I have for today. So there's lots of shortcuts through the profile page there for each user to access. And then we also have our employees database here. So first of all, we've got the company structure. So within the system, you can build out your organizational chart into BITRIX. So that includes the main departments, and you can also have sub-departments underneath here as well. And what we then do is we add each user to their relevant departments, or it could be multiple departments that we add them into. And this is important because, well, one, it's a really good visual tool to be able to analyze the actual structure of the business. So if you're a new starter in the business, this is a really good tool to use as a UI to be able to actually understand who is involved in each area of the business and what is the structure of the organization. So it gives you a really nice high level overview here. But this is also actually used across many areas of the BITRIX system. So for example, if we send a leave request, let's say in the construction department, that could go to Sam Smith because Sam Smith is the manager of that construction department. So we can put process workflow approvals in place based on the organizational chart here. And we can then also send messages and communicate to different departments. So this is used in a lot of areas of the system. And I would just point out as well, going back to that company structure, it's an area we see a lot that isn't set up correctly. And because I've just talked there about lots of different areas in BITRIX where that company structure is utilized, it means you don't get the full value out of the BITRIX system because you don't have this company structure configured correctly. So we spend a lot of time with businesses that are using BITRIX getting this set up accurately. And this then helps to add value into lots of different areas of the BITRIX platform. Okay, so moving over now to look into the employee database. So we've just looked at the user profile where we're storing the information about myself on my profile. Now, that information, it talks here to the employee database. So I'm an administrator on here, so I'm able to do this. So I can customize the layout here that we have for our employee information. And I can select what information I want to show here. So I could turn on or turn off different features and functionality here. So I'll keep that as we have it. And let's say if I want to search here, you've got a search tool. So I can drill down to find specific information. So if I wanted to find the person who deals with payroll, I'm a new starter, I want to ask them a question. So I can click into there and find that person. So it rolls up based on those attributes that we looked at earlier on. And BITRIX includes an instant chat communication system. So I can click onto a user's profile, or I could open up a new chat, and we can then have a conversation directly through the BITRIX platform. Okay, so we can type in our messages. You can also do video calling and voice calling. You could add participants into here. So it's very similar to other instant chat communication channels, but it's embedded and built into the BITRIX system. And you can also search through your chats here as well. So that's a look there at the employee side of the system. So how we can manage our profiles and the overall company structure inside BITRIX. The next area we'll look at is we talked about recording time. Okay, so if you want to be able to use the work time management tools, you need to have at least a professional cloud version of BITRIX24. Any on-premise is fine. So if you're on a basic or a standard or a free, you need to upgrade to the professional cloud to access the feature we're about to look at here. And that's our work time management feature. So inside here, a user can log their working day inside BITRIX. So you can see there I've just clocked in. So that's now going to start recording my working day. Then once I'm ready to take a break, I can then start to record my break time on the platform here. And you can continue to record your break time. It's going to accrue all of that time, as you can see here. And then when a user has completed their working days, all of that time information, it rolls up into the time and reports area of BITRIX. So if we go into our work time area, we can see all of the times that have been logged in the system here. So I can click into a day and I can see the clock in time, the clock out time. They can also, a user can add a report, so they can put reasons of what they've done for their working day. You can also ask them to attach what tasks and events they've completed. So you get a full summary of the employee's working day through the BITRIX platform. Another feature you've got within the system as well, if we go into the tasks area of BITRIX, so what we can do on a task, so you can assign out tasks to your employees, and we do have a full webinar where we focus on projects and tasks. So I won't go into this area of the system in too much detail, but just to explain, on tasks inside the system, you've got a time tracker tool. So you can start to record time on a task. Or let's say if you're wanting to manually record that time, or if someone's forgot to add that time, you can then also add that time into the system here, like so. Okay, so I can add that time and give a reason, and that will update the total time then on that task. And BITRIX includes a BI Builder tool. So this time information can then roll up onto the BI Builder, so you can build out dashboard reports to analyze that information and data. Okay, so some other HR areas that you need to be aware of. We also have a personal drive space. So here we can upload our documents, so from our local machines or from external applications such as Google Docs or Office 365. So we can store all of our documentation in the system here. And what's really nice with this feature as well is you can then grant access rights. Okay, and I talked earlier on about the company structure. This is just one small area where you can see that come into focus. So going into the permissions, if I want to assign out who can access this document, we can use that departmental structure. This is now talking with that. So I might say everyone in the finance department can have read access. So if your company structure is not set up correctly, if we're now assigning out permissions on information across BITRIX, that may be a problem for you. So again, I'm just reinforcing how critical it is to have your company structure set up correctly. So we can set permissions on those documents, and you can also see the revision history. You can see what changes are made to those documents. And we also have a company drive. Okay, so inside here, we've got a company repository. We can then set up folders for different departments or maybe for projects, and then we can see documents across that folder there. And you can click into those documents. BITRIX includes a document editor tool. So you can use the BITRIX Docs feature, and it's going to allow you to start editing those documents through the platform here as well. So the way this, I hope you're getting a flavor today, is almost all these different elements allow you to use all of the functionality of the BITRIX system for your way of working on your business. Okay, so that's a look at the drive area. And if you use projects, you can also have a drive area for each project that you have. We also have a calendar. So you've got your own calendar within the BITRIX platform. So you can manage all of your events. You can create your own meetings and events inside the system. Okay, so I can add those events into here. I can then add people to these events. So again, you're starting to manage lots of different areas of HR all within the BITRIX platform. So let's now save that meeting and send out the invites. And just like in the drive, you also have a company calendar. So this is for your company-wide events, and you can put permissions in place as well to control who's able to access those calendars through the system. Okay, so we've seen there quite a few different areas where you can utilize for your HR processes in BITRIX. And another really important area is first of all, we'll go through the start page. So this is a new feature within the BITRIX platform. So this allows you to build your own brand new corporate intranet homepage for you and your teams using the BITRIX platform. So it allows you to add information such as here employee activity, birthdays, maybe knowledge base information or employee information. So you could store all of that history here on your very own really modern looking brand intranet page. So you can come into here and you can start to edit your page. If you click in the start page, the vibe, this is where we can start to edit that page inside our BITRIX system. So it uses widget technology, so you can add different blocks into here. So let's say if I wanted to add a video, I could select the video block and embed that into the page. So it uses this drag and drop technology of blocks to allow you to customize the page. So if that's something you're looking for some support with, you can contact us and we'll be happy to assist you. And then we also have slightly more older version, but this is slightly different, is the feed. So the feed is essentially a modern intranet newsfeed board that allows you to see essentially any updates of information that you are associated with. So whether it's somebody allocating a task to you, or if they are assigning maybe an event to you, like that meeting we just set up, all of that information will feed into your feed. And you can also then post out messages. So like here, I'm going to post a message out to the team. And I can then choose who I want to send this to. So who is the audience of this message? So again, that company structure, it feeds into here. So we can see all of our departments, or I might want to send this to all employees. So you can control the audience here. Or you could even attach documents into here, add video links. So you can really, it's not just a text area for posting messages. You can make this as visualized as you require. So I can then post that message out amongst all of our employees there. And if we just have a look at this from another employee's perspective, so we can click on here. So we can see this here. So I've got to confirm my attendance for that meeting that I have been requested for. And then I can see that message that's been posted out. So they can they can add their own comments back. Okay, so it just allows for full collaboration directly through the BITRIX system. So rather than having endless external chats, having email threads, everything about communication can be managed through the BITRIX system here. And you can also, it's not just sending out messages, you can also create polls, so questions. Okay, so let's say for Christmas party ideas, so we could say cinema. Okay, so we can then post this out and we can then choose who we want to send this to again. So let's now send this out to all employees. And then people can vote for their favorites and most likely option through the system. So you can make things more interactive, more warm, more engaging with your employees. And we can also send appreciations and announcements. So appreciations is where you post out a message to a specific person and it includes a badge. So this is, say someone's done a really good job, then you are able to send that badge and essentially recognize good work and also make other people aware of that. And we can send out announcements as well. So let's say here, office closed. So for critical messages, you could use an announcement. Let's send this to all employees. And I can say here, how long do we want to show this announcement for? So I can customize this. And I'm just going to show you the difference here with an announcement. So if we go into our employee, you can see here an announcement. There's a big green button here, mark as read. So it forces the user to acknowledge that they have seen this message. Okay, so I can recognize what this message is saying. So they can then update this, and then that person will be notified that that has been read and approved, essentially. So that's another way, really popular way of using the announcement. And you've also got the company pulse. So the company pulse, it analyzes all of the data across the system, so we can see what areas of the BITRIX system we're utilizing the most. So we can see what's been underutilized across our teams or on an individual basis. And then from there, we can post out messages to people to get them to engage with different areas of the system, and that's something that's really important. Actually, looking at areas that are being underutilized, if you start to learn how to use those areas, and we can help you, then you'll start to get more value out of your BITRIX24 system, and that's what's really important. So that's just a few areas there of helping with employee engagement. And now let's move on to take a look at self-service forms. So self-service forms allow you to manage workflows and processes directly through the BITRIX system. Okay, so let's move back into our platform. And so the first self-service form we're going to look at today is a leave request. So we're going to request some holiday leave. So you can see that's opened up a form here. So within this form, we've got certain fields of information that are mandatory. Now, that can be completely customized. So you can customize what information needs to be displayed on this form. Okay, but let's now add our dates into here. Okay, and we can then choose the type of absence as well. And then we're going to submit that information. Okay, so we can see that's now been submitted, and you can see now it's going through an approval process. So that's now gone to our manager to either approve or reject in the system. So we can see that request has come into the manager with all the information. So what we can do first of all is if we go into our employee module, what we have in BITRIX is an absence chart. So we can see across the business all of the absences, which you can filter down through based on teams or based on absence types. So I can see that person's looking for December, 3 days. Nobody else is off right now in December. So what we'll do is let's approve that holiday request for them. Okay, so that's now been approved. So the employee is going to be notified that their request has been approved for their holiday. And I just want to show you now the background of this workflow tool, because it uses what we call the business process designer tool. And again, this feature, you need to have at least a professional cloud license to be able to utilize. So if we come into our leave approval, we can see here, this is the business process tool. And this is what we call a sequential business process. So it has a start point and then it has an end point with all the workflow in between this. So first of all, we requested the annual leave, which then got submitted to the supervisor. And based on that, we then had a decision matrix here. So we either had to approve or we had to reject that request. And because we approved that request, we can see it's gone down the left-hand channel here. So that's where the employee's been notified that the request was approved, and then it got added into the absence chart. Whereas if we rejected that leave, it goes down a different funnel of the workflow. So it would just notify the requester that the leave has been rejected and denied. And you can really build out these workflows. It's completely customizable. So BITRIX includes action blocks here on the right hand side. So you can add your own processes into here, whether it's tasks, emails, add additional conditions for maybe multiple layers of approval. So it's a completely customizable workflow tool. Now, a lot of businesses, to get value out of this, they need to use an experienced partner to get the workflow set up exactly how you need it to work. And that's where we can come in here at Interface to support you. If you need that assistance, our email address is in the chat box there, sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be happy to help you and advise you on your workflows. Okay, and let's take a look at another type of workflow. So this uses a different style of designer tool. Okay, so this is what we call the robotic process automation system. Essentially, it's a process that, again, designing out processes. So in this example, we've got employee onboarding. So here you can see the stages across the top, and we have automation rules set up in the background here that we can use to progress those workflows. So if we now set up a new employee, okay, and let's give them a start date. Then I'm going to save that information. And you can see then that information is now automatically progressed through now to the HR department, and they've been notified. So if we now take a look at the HR departments, we can see that they've just been notified about this new request. So if we go into their automation area, so the new employee details, Luke, has now been submitted to the HR team. So they now need to complete their section of the onboarding. So there's information here, such as the CV, selecting the manager, and adding the required IT information and equipment that they require. So you can start to see how we can progress information and workflows to the correct team at the correct time using the robotic process automation system. Okay, so that brings us to an end of today's HR Toolkit webinar. So I hope you've seen that within the BITRIX platform, there are a huge variety of features and functionality that allow you to manage your HR processes in BITRIX, from the profile and company structure to time management, personal drives, employee engagement, but we can also set access permissions across those different areas. But as I mentioned, having that company structure set up correctly is absolutely critical to having that permission control designed correctly. We then also looked at self-service forms using different features such as the business process designer tool and also the robotic process automation system. So there's a huge variety of features within BITRIX that you can use to help you to manage your HR processes. And we can provide help to set those up. We can provide training and also ongoing support to help you get the most possible value out of these features. Okay, so we're here every other Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Here are a selection of our up and coming webinars. And if you'd like to join them in the future, please do register at interface.com/webinars. I'll just bring up that information again there. So interface.com/webinars. And if you do need any help or guidance before the next webinar, you can contact us, sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be happy to assist you. Thank you very much for your time today. Bye for now, and I look forward to seeing you on our future webinars.